everybody, welcome to Nintendo Pop Block here on Brough Games. I'm your host, Andy B. Thank you guys for joining me. Of course, I have my roadies with me, the Indie Insider himself, Mr. Dan Murphy.
Happy Festival, y'all.
The devastating Dungeoneer, Mr. David Axby.
Welcome, everybody.
And he brings the snacks with the attack, the one, the only, our special guest, Mr. Jack Brough.
Hey, how is everybody?
Hello, Jack. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
We apologize to everyone. We had technical difficulties, so I had to do a recorded episode, so do forgive me for that. Twitch was being a naughty person in this time of weather. So hopefully when you guys see our next episode, we will be live and good to go. But Jack, once again, thank you for joining us. You became recently a listener, I think, a while back.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Yes, and you was the first person to win our contest for not a contest, our trivia episode.
Yes.
Corey wanted you the $10 eShop card, so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right.
Yes. So everybody, before we go on, we're going to get into some quick housekeeping because we have a lot to cover. This is episode 233 of Nintendo Pop Block Podcast. Each and every week we come together to talk about games and everything we love about them with our friends. You can join us live on Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/BossRichGames Live and be a part of the conversation. But if you can't join us live, no big deal. You can head on over to youtube.com/BossRichGames and BossRichGames.com to watch the show or listen on your podcast service of choice. Remember to subscribe, follow, rate, and review wherever you consume us. It helps us out with discoverability. And check out our family of shows wherever you listen to your podcast. And also, everybody join us on our Brough Games Discord channel. You would get a lot of chatter there. We talk about snacks, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, Destiny, just anything and everything with that. So come on over and join us. But we are going to get into our first segment of the game, and I'm excited of the show, and I'm excited to see what everybody has brought this week. So of course, everybody, it's time for Snacktendo. Jack, as our guest, what has been on your Snacktendo?
Well, I had for the first time in a while some ice cream tonight. My son and I enjoyed some cookies and cream ice cream, so that was definitely a nice surprise, digging that out of the freezer. Yeah, but other than that, I had some double stuffed EL fudge cookies. I had never had them. My wife brought them home, and yeah, they were a lot better than anticipated. So,
Nice. Did you drink some milk with them?
No, I did not drink milk with them. I just grabbed them and went out the door with it. So it was just a quick last minute grab.
Okay, all right. Dan, what has been on your Snacktendo?
So my fiance, she's from New Mexico. And when I got back from my trip last week, she had these 3 jars of salsa. They're all... it's called Sadie's Salsa from New Mexico, and it's legitimately the best salsa I've ever had. It has so much flavor, perfect amount of spice, and I don't think I can eat another salsa again. It's the best one.
All right. Sorry, everybody, had to turn my camera off for a quick minute. David, what has been on your Snacktendo?
This weekend we were kind of having a little bit of downtime because we got a bunch of snow here in Seattle, which is unusual. So we just kind of kicked back with the fire. And along with that, we made a whiskey apple cider smash together. And it was just, I helped myself to an extra serving or two. And it was,
Nice.
Good.
So that was kind of my treat this weekend, but one of my go-to weekend snacks as well is Ben and Jerry's. It almost doesn't. Half baked is my favorite, but it almost doesn't matter what it is. It's Ben and Jerry's.
It still blows my mind that Seattle doesn't get that much snow. I can't get past it.
Sorry about that, everybody. Definitely for me, well, what's been on my snack Nintendo, and I gotta like share with you guys, of course, is the Pringles. This is Parmesan and roasted garlic. And I posted this in our on my Twitter page and told everybody to just wait for Snacktendo for the review. It tastes like Italian Olive Garden's Italian bread, like the breadsticks with the butter. It is delicious. It is full on delicious. I couldn't believe that it this is my second can. Me and my manager kind of bought like 5 cans already, and we haven't put it out for sale yet. But it's fantastic. We'll put it out on sale like the end of this week. But it's such a good flavor. So if you guys see it, it's a recommend. Like I truly recommend getting this flavor. It's buttery, and it, like I said, if when you eat it a lot, you're gonna be like, I need some marinara sauce to go with this. Like you may start dipping the chip in some marinara sauce and eating it. It's that good. So that has been on my snack Tendo. And also I went to Subway, got me a Coca Trio and 3 chocolate chip cookies. Oh, so good. And once again, I brought some dots from work.
We had that stopping that Dan was trashing on Dot when he was over on, was it Crossroads?
In my defense, I also stomped on Dots here. I have never once in my life even alluded to the fact that they are kind of good.
Dan, I got to back you up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're safe.
They're awful.
He even went so far as to dig up Crows, the black licorice dots, which I had to get on chat to at least defend a little bit.
Now, I don't do black licorice. It just doesn't resonate with me because I think of eating Twizzlers, like the strawberry and the pull and peel cherries, like that sweet taste. I love black licorice.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out that David's getting stipends from Crows because there's no other way he'd actually talk about enjoying these. It takes the 2 worst things in the world, Dots and black licorice, and combines them. Like 2 wrongs don't make a right. This is a proven fact.
Well, everybody, that has been our Snack Tendo, and now it's time for our game fact events. And today I bring you guys a very good game fact events. It's about Hirokazu Tanaka, or if for some people know, Hip Tanaka. Hip Tanaka was born on December 13th, 1957. He's also known as Chip Tanaka. And he's a Japanese musician, composer, sound designer, and executive who pioneered chiptune music. He is best known as one of Nintendo's in-house composers during the 8-bit and 16-bit era video games. Tanaka also had a role in designing and programming the Famicom and Game Boy audio hardware, along with the NES Zapper, Game Boy Camera, and Game Boy Printer. Tanaka's soundtrack credits include Metroid 1986, Kid Icarus 1986, Super Mario Land 1989, Tetris 1989, Mother 1989, which is Earthbound, Beginnings here in America, Dr. Mario 1990, and Earthbound 1994, which is Mother 2. As the president of Creatures, he continues to be involved with Nintendo, more specifically the Pokemon franchise. His influence are, Tanaka said that his tastes in his youth were typical of the time, listening to artists such as the Beatles and the Carpenters. His first exposure to dub music was through the 1978 album Negria Love Dub by Linval Thompson while eating pasta at a restaurant with live music in Kyoto. It was the record's use of exaggerated tape delay which astounded Tanaka, who stopped eating every time he heard it occur. I thought this is his quote. I thought, is the music sick? But the more I listened to it, that groove with the bass line in the mixer, I think the mixer takes full control of it directly and instinctively. When I felt it, I thought, this is amazing. I was totally hooked. Tanaka explained his fascination with reggae music and his application for it in his game scores. It wasn't, he states, it wasn't proactive on my part. I was a music lover that happened to be working at Nintendo. The reason I like reggae, especially dub, is because there actually is vocal and guitar on it. Let's say, but in the essence, it's strictly driven by drums and bass. That's what I love about it the most. I think I like how there's this raw aspect to it. The gritty raw quality of the sound, let's say, that really caught my ears, and that deep bass sound, the boo, that was something I never heard before in rock music. It drove me like no other genre in music. Among specific musical influence, Tanaka has cited Brian Wilson, Randy Newman, Stack Ridge, Yabi Oo, The Flying Lizards, Prince, Lalo Rodriguez, My Bloody Valentine, Frank Zappa, Kichi Suzuki, High Whittler's various artist compositions, Sly Dunby, John Robbo, and The Slits. The hip Tanaka came from hip hop, with his favorite artists of the genre being A Tribe Called Quest. So that has been our Game Fact events. Check out more of Hit Tanaka's music. I've been listening to Mario Paint, and he was part of the composer with that. His save and low music is amazing. I love that house beat dance music that he put into it. So guys, do check that out. We're gonna move. Oh, go ahead.
Before we move on, I just gotta say, the music for Super Mario Land for the Game Boy is probably one of my all-time favorite soundtracks for that era. I have such fond memories as a kid using those Game Boy headsets that came with, right, which were just horrible. But like just putting, like going to some of those levels, like there's that one level with the dolphins, I think, that I love that soundtrack so good. I found it on YouTube the other day, and I've been listening through, and some of those early like chiptune, there was some great work done with that.
I like how they brought it back with the Super Ball and Mario Maker 2. So like every time you get the Super Ball power up, you get the Super Mario Land music. I thought that was a nice touch.
Oh, it was so good.
Metroid. We're going to be talking about that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the Metroid one really set the mood and the feel to that game in an amazing way for that era.
For sure.
Jack, did you play any of these games like Earthbound, Metroid?
Never really got into Earthbound, but Metroid, yeah, big fan of. And is this the same Tanaka that hides his tune in a lot of different games? It's been one of those things where it's like an Easter egg. One that comes to mind is in Link's Awakening during the save file screen. It can be hidden in there, along with a lot of other games. I don't know if it's the same Tanaka or not, but I would imagine
it probably is.
Okay. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up and send that over to you guys, because it's like a little like 5 to 10 second like jingle that he hides in the middle of songs and stuff like that, and it's hidden in a bunch of Nintendo games.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, everybody, you know what time it is. It's Femi News. Take it away, David.
All right. Thank you, Ed. We got a lot of stories to get to today, but our first one is Crash Bandicoot 4 coming to Switch on March 12th. So this is from Nintendo of America directly, and they said, quote, "Gear up for a wild platforming adventure with Crash, Coco, and friends in Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. Coming to Nintendo Switch on March 12th. Hashtag Crash 4. So we want to just have a quick discussion on this. We'll start with you, Dan. Is this a good get for Nintendo? How does this fit in with the larger trend of ports coming to the Switch? And does this mean we're getting Crash for Smash Bros? Dan, what do you think?
Crash for Smash, absolutely. I do think it's a good grab for Nintendo. I feel like it was very predictable. I actually know people who didn't buy it for PlayStation 4 because they were waiting to pick it up on Switch. People just love the portability, you know. I won't be picking it up. I had it on PlayStation 4. In my opinion, it was a little too frustrating of a game for me. So, you know, I'm glad it's coming. I'm glad Crash is getting support on Switch. So I'm happy to see it.
Jack, did you play any of the Crash games? What are your thoughts on this story?
I played a little bit, but I have the Insane trilogy. I picked that up, and yeah, but it was a lot more frustrating than I remember them being on the original PlayStation, and didn't get too much into it. And haven't played any of the fourth one, but I think it's a great addition. I think more people are waiting for it to be available. It's been rumored for a bit, so it's great that it's actually announced now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ed, what about you?
I don't think it's a good addition for Nintendo. Once again, it's one of those games that, and Activision keeps doing this. They always make it late for Nintendo and not bring it out with the other companies when it's first released. And what happens is that people start kind of losing interest when something that was a hit, like in Europe, like a year ago, coming a little bit later. People lose interest because there's better games that people look forward to. I mean, if people want to go and get it for Switch, that'd be fine. It'd be a good game to add to their collection. I don't think Crash is coming to Smash. I don't think Nintendo and Activision works well together. So to have Crash in it, that would be a shock. But I think Nintendo's looking for more obscure or other Japanese or maybe other well-known Western characters to bring to Smash. Crash just doesn't. I think Crash doesn't have enough moves or interest here in America for him to be in Smash and stuff.
All right, Ed. Well, I got to push back on that a little because when you see people's most wanted Smash Bros. Characters, he's pretty much always represented on that list somewhere.
Every single time. He's one of the most wanted characters. And he's represented the most in the West.
Yeah, he's iconic.
I'll say, though, that I will go so far as to say Nintendo started with how can we get Crash into Smash Brothers, and Activision said, well, how about bringing Crash 4 over to Switch?
Well, I think they only, in my opinion, only people reason that they won't Smash in it because Crash used to be Sony's mascot. And so right now you have two of the biggest mascots outside of Nintendo. You have Sonic from Sega and you have Steve from Minecraft representing as mascots. No one talked anything about Crash for years. Like Crash back in his old games was getting trashed after the third one because Naughty Dog sold Crash to another developer, and Crash got passed around different developers before he landed with Activision. So nobody was talking about any of their games, or they weren't selling anything. If they do put Crash in, it's only because it's connected to Sony, and so that would represent the somewhat, I want to say trifecta, but now it's a quadruple of mascots in the game, with Pac-Man representing Namco, which will make 5, and Mega Man representing Capcom.
All right, but Dan's been shaking his head while you're talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my computer froze from that ice cold take. I mean, everybody has been talking about fighting the big three, Sonic, Mario, and Crash, since GameCube. I don't know where you're coming up with this stuff.
All right, guys, let me ask you this really quick. If it wasn't for Switch sales just bursting through the roof this last year, does Crash 4 still come to Switch?
No, because Activision hasn't really supported Nintendo. Like, what signs have Activision shown that they've been supporting Nintendo? If you can't put out Crash when PlayStation and Xbox come out, what other games you haven't supported them with any kind of Call of Duty? And you can they can make a Call of Duty game to put on it. They did the same thing with Spyro. They made it late, but don't forget the Spyro games when it was on Wii and Wii U. They were pushing those Toys for Life games, selling like crazy over PlayStation and Xbox. So it's kind of weird to see like, oh, some of your two biggest games that sold well in Europe, you're doing it late for Switch. And some people might say, well, why does Bethesda get a pass with Doom Eternal? Well, Bethesda has been delaying Doom Eternal for ages. So, and they've been supporting Nintendo more than Activision has.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. But, I think it does speak to the success that Nintendo's having this past year. And I love that the game library for Switch just continues to grow. So actually transitioning to our next story, speaking of game library, 4 more titles were added to the NES and SNES Switch Online this past week. So this is out of Nintendo of America. Quote, 4 more titles will be added to the NES and SNES collection on February 17. Super NES Nintendo Switch Online will receive Doomsday Warrior, Psycho Dream, and Prehistoric Man. The NES will receive Fire and Ice. So, one reaction that I had to this, and I know I'm not the only one, why all the obscure games, right? Like, why haven't we got games that people have been begging for, like Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3? So that's kind of my entry point for this conversation. But also, I know especially Ed, you play a lot of obscure games. Maybe there's something on this list that catches your attention. So maybe we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on these additions to the game library?
I think they're great. I think these are games that people could play and experience, because I think when you go to like Squaresoft and Konami and Capcom games, yes, they're good quality. Yes, they are safe, games and series that people know, but there's some obscure ones that really are great to play and experience and everything. So I think like Doomsday Warrior, Psycho Dream, Prehistoric Man, and Fire and Ice, which is a game from Tecmo. I've never heard this game from Tecmo. I know Ninja Gaiden and Tecmo Bowl and some other games, but I've never heard Fire and Ice. So to see that they're bringing these obscure games, it allows people to experience that there was a whole bunch of Super Nintendo games that got missed. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, people will actually get a chance to play them, talk about them, beat them, depending on the challenge, and experience why some of these games are good or maybe not good. I think it's great when they bring obscure stuff to it, because it's a new paint to a lot of people. It's a new way to play and experience the titles from the past.
All right. Well, Jack, what about you? Do you recognize any of those titles as something that you're excited about? And what about the titles that haven't been coming to the NES and SNES online?
Oh, I'm shocked. You guys think that these guys are obscure? These aren't these household names? No, geez. I'm fine with obscure games being added, but this is not a selling point to the service at all. Of course, we have all of Nintendo's big franchises, Zelda, Mario, and Metroid, all on there. But this isn't getting anybody that is just getting into the Switch interested in the Nintendo Online edition. And we're in the games. Is this really going to get you to turn on or get too many people to turn on the app just to check out these games for more than maybe 5 minutes? Doomsday Warrior looked like it was running in slow motion in the video. And it's a fighting game, compared to Street Fighter 2 or any of the other actual real good fighting games. I think out of the list, maybe Prehistoric Man looked like it might actually have some, something to catch on to. And that's just more based upon the fact that it's a caveman in prehistoric times with dinosaurs and stuff like that. That might be fun to play, just for a couple of minutes or so.
I agree with you, Jack. It couldn't even get me to click on the games when I was in the app. So I think this is like some person in a room somewhere at Nintendo that's like, what game I played as a kid that I want on the Switch service? Like he's like randomly picking things, because I don't know, Dan, what do you think? Any of these titles grab your attention? And why aren't we getting games like Earthbound and the Final Fantasy games, or Chrono Trigger, which is something that everybody asks about?
I don't get it. This just reminds me of that Simpsons episode where Marge gives Bart like that random golfing game. It's like, oh, I heard you wanted a video game. I don't get it. Like, I understand what you're saying, Ed, where you're like, oh, you want like obscure, try something new. But man, like, we have the Switch. It is an indie machine. You want to try obscure, you go and buy something for 99 cents and try that. And chances are it's going to be better than anything that just popped on, because it's made 20 years later. I don't know what's going on with it. I'll probably just throw back to the old tidbit I keep throwing out with a subscription-based service, and maybe that's why they're not going towards more popular games, because we're going to have to pay for it down the road in a couple months. But that's the only reason I could think of where they're putting up these like complete nonsense games.
I mean, you got to think of the fact of licensing, and you got to also think of the fact of getting that kind of thing on it, because Nintendo has to go to Square Enix to get all of that. And Square
I was
Enix,
just gonna say, I feel like this. I have no hopes of Super Mario RPG or the Final Fantasy games coming.
Yeah, and well, Square and Nintendo got to work on a contract for that. They got to talk all about that. It's just something that trying to get it uploaded or not porting it. Just trying to get those kind of games, they may take a while to get on it, and they got to go through those, like I said, contracts and get the source code and all of that stuff. So Nintendo might have to do a lot of work along with the companies to get that, and like I would love to see Chrono Trigger, but I think I don't want to play the Super Nintendo version of Chrono Trigger, because the DS version with Akira Toriyama's cutscenes enhanced that game in a sense, for the DS. So I want to see that version if it comes to Switch Online.
Well, and hopefully, Dan's been hammering away at this, but hopefully there is a subscription service coming soon that allows that, because otherwise it feels like what are you doing, Nintendo, right? Like, is it worth the amount of money that it took for the press release and the pay that it took to get like Doomsday Warrior? I mean, give us Game Boy Advance, give us Virtual Boy. There's so many other awesome historical games that Nintendo has done. Like, it feels like an early April Fool's joke. I don't understand.
I think it's something that, even though it's what we want, we don't know the behind the scenes to get that one. And if companies are being a headache to Nintendo to get what we want, Nintendo doesn't want anything to do that. They love them.
But why release these games? That's the thing. It's like, yes, I get it, Ed. Like, we can't get what we want always, but like, why these? Like, why would you get turned down on something and then choose this? Like, I don't know a single person who's like, yeah, this is great, or even gonna try it. Maybe
I think I'm going to try it.
Ed. That's the only one. Ed is the base.
I think, like I said, a new experience, new games. Because, like, I played Chrono Trigger for years. I could play that game from back to forth. I know everything about that. I want to play something new that's been in my past that I missed. Don't forget, me being a 4-year-old person, there's 16-bit games and 8-bit games I missed because they never came to our store.
All right, Ed.
I think there was a reason that you may have missed them, though.
Next week, you're going to give us a full rundown on Psycho Dream. I'm going to hold you to that. So
wait until we get to docked mode.
Yeah, we got to go on to the next story. So Pokemon announces... announcements teased for the series anniversary week, including concert featuring Katy Perry and Post Malone. So this is from Brian over at NintendoEverything.com. Quote, taking place on Saturday, February 27th, better known as Pokemon Day, the event will be an online party not just for Pokemon fans, but for all music fans around the world. It will also serve as the launch activation for the franchise's year-long P25 music program. The Pokemon Company International has teamed up with the Universal Music Group to bring the concert and more music surprises to life through 2021 as part of a P25 Music. P25 Music is a collaboration with some of the biggest names to create new song styles and pop culture moments, all through the lens of Pokemon. Pop icon Katy Perry was announced last month as the program's premier artist. Quote, I've been a Pokemon fan for a long time, so the opportunity to headline Pokemon Day concert celebrating 25 years is awesome, said Post Malone. The concert will be free to view on the official Pokemon YouTube channel, Pokemon's official Twitch channel, and on the Pokemon's 25th anniversary website, beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on February 27. Pokemon will unveil more P25 music details at the end of the concert, so fans will want to tune in more for the upcoming collaboration surprises. All right, panel. What are your reactions to this story? Is this a fitting celebration of Pokemon 25? And maybe most important, what might this mean for the other anniversaries happening this year? Jack, we'll let you get us started. What do you think about this story?
Everything about this story does not fit into my wheelhouse. Pokemon is one of my Nintendo series that has just never struck with me. And Katy Perry and Post Malone are not on my Spotify playlist or anything like that. But I'm guessing that it fits the target market. So everything there, hey, that's great. I think they're putting a lot of effort into the celebration, which is exciting, especially for all of the other anniversaries that are set to take place this year. With Zelda and Metroid, kind of hoping that there's something for Metroid. It's almost a given that there's going to be something for Zelda, just because of how much bigger it is. But yeah. It's not going to be something for me, but it's great that they have this big plan on the 27th is a Saturday, I believe. So it's great that it's a big celebration. So hopefully the Pokemon fans are excited to hear about the other announcements game-wise and everything else tied into it.
Yeah, you bring up some good points, Jack, about the demographics that they're going for, right? Pokemon is a long-running franchise, and there's a lot of older fans. These music demographics are, more younger fans, so I'm curious if they're trying to grab in new audiences for the games as well through marketing this way. Ed, what do you think about this strategy to announce more Pokemon content and celebrating the anniversary?
I think it's great. Katy Perry is a big pop icon for a lot of people, whether you're older or younger. She's been having hit stuff. She fits singing Pokemon, and making kind of like anime sounding music, like for a cartoon or a movie. So she fits. Post Malone, though, doesn't. That was the weird one, because it was just, and nothing against Post Malone or his talent. He just doesn't fit. He doesn't fit the Pokemon resume in a sense. He doesn't look like he's a Pokemon fan. He doesn't look like
he's a lifelong fan, apparently.
I guess so, but it's just like, what are you gonna sing or / mumble auto-tune to make this a hit? Like, he might be, there might be original songs dedicated to this. So and Post Malone is kind of popular with a lot of people, but he's just fit. It's weird for him to be in the Pokemon universe in the sense of singing stuff. Now he might be doing songs for a trailer or for like moments in the past and stuff, and it may fit. Same with Katy Perry with this. So I'm glad they got Katy Perry. Post Malone is a wait and see what happens. He might actually have a cut. He might, as the kids call it, a bop. He might have something that will surprise us. So I'm all for this. I like the fact that they're doing a concert and celebrating it in a big way with it.
Dan, what do you think this means for other anniversaries happening this year if Pokemon is getting this sort of event? And also, does the inclusion of pop icons reinforce this idea of Nintendo as the king of consoles?
I think Pokemon is kind of like the pop culture of Nintendo games, right? It's the one that's like very popular. Every kid plays it. Like everybody played it growing up, and it doesn't really surprise me that it's getting this kind of publicity because Pokemon games always are like one of the top sellers on every system. For what it means for different series, I have no idea. I really don't think Zelda's going to get this kind of treatment because I think the Zelda games kind of sell themselves, to be honest. And everybody knows, like everybody that plays games like is already looking forward to this, where there's a big demographic of Pokemon fans that have moved on from the series and maybe they're trying to pull them back in a way. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see. It's even Mario didn't get that kind of treatment. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I think we'll get something awesome for all the other anniversaries.
Right. And don't forget, Zelda had Symphony of the Goddess. as a concert for almost 2-3 years, and that kind of represents Zelda. Oh, that guy. Oh, I wish that would come back. I want to see it one more time with some Breath of the Wild music. Like, I want to see that live. Please, pandemic end, so they could come back and do another concert.
You're not alone in that one, Ed. I think one thing we can be sure is that whatever we all want Nintendo to do, they won't do it. Pretty much a given with Nintendo. All right, we're going to move on to our next story here. So Spiritfarer DLC is on the way this year. This is from Mederic Belair via thunderlotusgames.com. We have 3 major updates in the work, all of which will be completely free. We are currently planning to release them in spring, summer, and fall of this year, and they will contain their own set of challenges, including new spirits, new buildings, new resources, and overall quality of life improvements to the game, end quote. So, gentlemen, I'm not sure who here has played Spiritfarer, but are you excited about these DLC updates? Does the continued support for indie games bode well for the indie culture on Switch? Dan, we'll start with you as our indie insider. What are your thoughts on this 3-part DLC release over the next year for Spiritfarer?
I've actually never played Spiritfarer. Everybody I know that has played it is loving it, and just to see indie games get this kind of support and publicity is just awesome. I love seeing indie developers getting this kind of support and recognition.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I also have not played this, but again, similar situation as you, is I haven't met a person that's played it and hasn't liked it. And I will say that I love that there's multiple seasons of DLC, and that's a model that I would like to see other games follow, other indie games continue to support like that, not just a one-time burst of DLC. Jack, are you into indie games, and what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm into indie games. This is one that is in my backlog. I believe I picked it up on a sale, but hadn't even started it. But now with DLC coming out, and I agree with your point that I like how it's spread out across, spring, summer, and fall. That just keeps you interested in it across the time. And then with each DLC that is released, it gives the game more of a chance to grab on the new fans as well. But I am looking forward to finally starting it. But, like a lot of people, backlog is filling up, and then they keep on releasing more and more games. So it keeps on getting nudged back further and further.
I feel the backlog.
And a quick shout out to Late to Gaming in our Discord. He was talking about Spiritfarer over the weekend and how much he was enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fantastic. Ed, the king of backlog.
The shade.
I'm just.
But it's the truth, so.
What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's amazing that they're doing this. Like, a lot of people love this game, which is really funny that this was actually supposed to be a Microsoft exclusive. But when Nintendo showed it and said that it's out, that's when it also came out for Xbox. So seeing this DLC, and that, for some people, it was Game of the Year for them last year. So giving them more content, that's going to give people to come back to this game and play it more. I don't have it just yet. I missed the sale. Like you said, I'm king of backlog. I got tons of game. I'm actually I'm actually going to be picking this up, and I cannot wait for this DLC to drop because it's up my wheelhouse, and I love the animation to this game.
It's
like
beautiful.
It looks, yes, it's once I seen it on Xbox stage at E3, I was just like, oh, I need this now. And then seeing that Switch was getting it, I'm like, oh, I need this on Nintendo. I don't need it nowhere else. So I'm excited for this DLC. I cannot wait for it to drop. I'm gonna go get through the game with the DLC roll. I'm gonna play the DLC, and I'm going to probably end up loving it like everybody else.
All right. Our last story in this segment tonight, Game Developers Conference, the GDC, showcase to feature Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. So this is news out of GoNintendo.com. Quote, This year's GDC takes place July 19th to 23rd, 2021, and Nintendo fans have at least one reason to pay attention. A special panel with Velan Studios has been revealed, and it's going to focus on Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. You can see the full description of this panel below. And I'll go ahead and read that. Velan Studios was formed in 2016 to create breakthrough games that are magic. Its debut title, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, was launched on October 16, 2020, and its second title will be announced soon. The games represent Velan Studios' journey to define a culture and business model that can cultivate fundamentally new play patterns, as well as ways of bringing them to market. Divergent thinking sometimes demands divergent go-to-market pathways. In this talk, we will discuss what is needed to create a studio environment where big innovation can thrive. Topics include the pitfalls and challenges to innovation in a studio setting, a development environment to discover big ideas, the importance of team investment at all levels of the organization, and the development of stages of an idea, how to avoid falling into an innovation decline, and approaches to the idea of experimentation. All right, I'm not sure how many of you have played Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, but as I've shared before on the show, I absolutely love the game. I guess it's more than just a game. It's an activity. And I think that their mission statement really rings true in Home Circuit. It is an innovative experience. It's a way to play games unlike any other opportunity I've had before. It reminded me of Nintendo Labo in a little way. And it seems like it has a home on Nintendo. So want to ask the panel, does this indicate Mario Kart Live Home Circuit has been a success, that it's being featured now 6 months later at a conference, and that it's been viewed positively by the industry? Innovative studios seem to be drawn to Nintendo. Why has innovation come so easily for Nintendo compared to the track record of Sony and Microsoft? Ed, thoughts on this?
Okay, so of course, GDC, the Game Developers Conference, mostly is for game developers. When Nintendo gets involved, everybody's going to watch it because everybody likes to know the secrets of Nintendo and their game development. With this innovation has been one of the key things of Nintendo in their products. They're always trying to do something new. They're always willing to take a risk, whether it fails or not. And even if it fails, they'll take the ideas that did work and implement it in something else, for people to be like, okay, yeah, that was a failure, but this thing is a success. So to see them come in there and, talking about why innovation is important, we have seen studios just put out the same games, just with a different number, with a little bit of graphics over and over again. Yeah, they'll sell 1 million copies or so because of the familiar space. Where Nintendo just like, we want to challenge you. We want to improve your gameplay skills by giving you something different. We have this completely idea that we think that you guys will like. If you are willing to give it a try, yeah, you got to pay whatever the price is. But if you're willing to give it a try and say that you experience something new, we're going to be the company that gives it to you. They have that over Sony and Microsoft because Sony and Microsoft normally tries to copy Nintendo and fails at it. They try to do
example of that.
Yeah, they try to do a lot of stuff that Nintendo does, and they cannot do because Nintendo knows how to, when they're innovating, they're going to bring some quality to it. And Microsoft and Sony don't think about the quality part to it. They just think of, if it works, throw it out there. And that's it.
I think Laurent's head is exploding somewhere. I hear you say that. So, Dan, does this indicate that Mario Kart Live Home Circuit is viewed as a success by industry insiders? And do you have any thoughts on this sort of spirit of innovation at Nintendo versus Microsoft or Sony?
I just think it's cool that they're able to do these kind of building type games. You know what I mean? Like Mario Maker is one of my favorite games. I'm not going to do Mario Kart Home Circuit just because I'm not really that big of a Mario Kart fan, and my dog would probably eat the thing, but it's just super cool. I love that they're able to try these things. They've made so much money off of Mario Kart 8. Try something new, and they're really the company that does think outside the box and try something new every time. So I would see it as a success. Everybody I know that's played it is like raves about it. So that's where I stand.
Jack, final thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, it shows that it's a technological success, being able to implement the augmented reality capabilities of the game, and using user creativity to actually design the courses, just shows that it's another game tied to a Nintendo system that moves gaming to a different level. And I think that Nintendo's entirely long history of starting off as a toy company has propelled them to be the focal gaming company to move innovation forward.
Yeah, and I would just add to, and I think your point about them being a toy company at first is an excellent one. I would also add to it that Nintendo has really cornered the market on being the family system, and having a game that, you know, can still have kids be on screens, but that parents are going to be happier that their kids are being creative, that they're getting up and moving around, is just brilliant. And it speaks to how much Nintendo thinks beyond the frame of traditional video games, and it's meant dollars. It's meant sales in a way that Microsoft and Sony either don't care to figure out or haven't figured out to the same degree. So, well, everybody, that has been our family news segment. Ed, back to you.
All right, and everybody, we're gonna get into a quick link code before we get into our doc mode, because some of a rumor kind of broke, and we don't know if it's true or not. So we're going to take this with a good grain of salt. This comes from a good friend of ours, Stealth at Stealth40K on Twitter. He said, according to Dust Golem, a prominent Capcom leaker, Resident Evil Revelations 3 / Resident Evil Outrage is coming late 2021, early 2022, and is a Switch time exclusive. Interesting. Switch has many Resident Evil ports, but has been missing out on the newer games. He also tweeted out his. He said, if you want to think about it, Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Resident Evil Revelations 3, and whatever Mega Man projects are happening, Switch is really getting Capcom's support. So I kind of want to ask you guys, even though we're taking it with a good grain of salt about Revelations 3 being a time exclusive to Capcom, do you think this is good? And do you think that Capcom is going in a different direction of supporting Nintendo heavily with new titles this year? Jack, what is your thoughts?
Oh, I think it's great if it's actually true. I'm kind of shocked they just had the big announcement about Resident Evil Village. That if this is true, why wasn't it kind of tied into that announcement? Seems like a missed opportunity to expand upon Resident Evil announcements. Yeah, I'd be excited for it. I never really got into the Revelation games, but the more games that are supported for the Switch, I'm excited about, because I know that there's an audience for it.
Yeah, what about
missed opportunities? I think we need to trademark Ed's Salt, because I got a barrel of it for this. I don't believe this at all. And, you know, I want to throw some of that classic Ed Salt on this, because there's been so many rumors about stuff like this in 2020 and 2021, and so far almost none of it has come out to be true. So that's my 2 cents.
What about you, Dan?
Just for the record, it wasn't Stealth leaking it. He was just reporting something he saw on Dusk Golem. And this guy has been like a Capcom leaker before, and I believe he received a cease and desist. Nobody really knows how he knows these Capcom rumors or anything. So, again, I'll join the salt train. Or the silo, whatever you want to call it. You know, and I'm kind of just looking at him, and I'm looking at them right now. These are just like pretty high hopes, but I don't think they're that far off the course. Capcom is making some money off the Switch, and Switches are selling like crazy. I think everybody right now, if they can get some sort of game or some sort of way to sell something on Switch, they're going to. So it's a little crazy, but I think I'm gonna buy it.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
We know that Capcom has had a leak about games and stuff coming out. We don't know what was true and what was not. Seeing how Monster Hunter Rise is being a big thing for Switch for next month, and Ghosts and Goblins being shown at the Game Awards last year, which like made me drop my jaw and kind of says I said some cuss words when I seen that because I couldn't believe it. I'm on the fence with this one. So I got salt on the ground to melt the snow, but I don't got a whole bunch of salt to put on this rumor and stuff. I think it could happen and be announced. I don't think it's a time exclusive. I think it might come to all the platforms at the same time. Something about Resident Evil with Capcom. I think they want to get it on as many platforms as they want to. Now, if they decide to do a time exclusive, then I could believe this story. But like, I throw salt on a time exclusive, then I do the game itself. Seeing if it comes out next year for 2022, I could probably see that happening.
I think like Capcom definitely is surprised with like the sales they do on Switch, right? I mean, even Mega Man 11, they didn't expect to sell like crazy. It sold like 400,000 copies on Switch.
Yeah, so I have to see what they have planned. So we might see it in a Nintendo Direct. If we got a Nintendo Direct, we can't confirm it. If we don't see it in a Nintendo Direct and Capcom doesn't say anything, then I'm going to say by October, if nothing happens, David, I am coming to grab some of the salt from your barrel and we're just going to chuck it at this room. Like literally chuck at it and just be like, Capcom, no. The Great Ace Chronicles, though, it being rated in Taiwan, that's the one I want to see that come to Switch. I think that could be coming to Switch in North America. That's the one. It's the Phoenix Wright game, but done in, I think, the Edo period, like in the Samurai age. So it's like a different take, but though it's still considered as one of the Phoenix Wright games. If anybody wants to see that series up. So everybody, that is our link code, and now it's time to get into dock mode. Oh boy, here we go with this one. Super Mario 3D World has arrived, and we have thoughts on this game. For this dock mode, we're going to discuss why the game has become a love title amongst players and the extra content Bowser's Fury standing out. And then we're going to talk a little bit about ports on why it seems that Nintendo ports really matter than other ports on other systems and stuff. So, Super Mario 3D World. Let's get into the campaign first before we get into Bowser's Fury story. I know none of us hasn't finished the game. I know we're all making progress, getting our stamps, getting the stars and everything. But what do we think of this game? And if you played it on Wii U, if you want to talk about some of the comparisons, you can. Dan, what are your thoughts? Just the campaign for right now.
So I had never played it on Wii U, and I know people raved about it. So I'm glad I finally got to play it, and now I can actually say I get it. Like, this game is a blast. It is so much fun. I love being able to use a different kind of characters. I think the cat suit works really well. And it's kind of funny because between playing Captain Toad and Mario Maker 2, I'm like somewhat familiar with this game, like way more familiar than I should be. I will say though, like the music is really good, but the Captain Toad like remixed like music from this game is much better. I actually wish they brought it to this port. But yeah, it's really funny that I'm like very familiar with this game just because of Mario Maker 2 and Captain Toad. But man, the levels are fun. I've really had a good time playing online. I've played with probably 10 different people, which is why I'm not progressing in the game, because I'm not playing my own file. I'm playing other people's. But, you know, it's cool just finding what characters you like and who fits what situation and how well all the suits work, too.
All right. Jack, what are your thoughts?
I like it. It's a lot of fun. I did have it on the Wii U, so I'm getting to revisit it. Played through the entire campaign on the Wii U, so a lot of it is familiar. But it's been when did the original come out, in 2014 or something like that?
Yeah, like
so,
2013, 14.
Okay, so I got it at launch then, so it's been quite some time. But I'm playing a lot of it with my 4-year-old son. So he's just starting to get into games. So some of the frustrations aren't on my end; they're on my 4-year-old's end. You know, so and the way that the co-op works is it's a shared live system. So you know, we might start off a level of 12 lives, but he might get distracted a bunch of times, and then by the end of it, we only have 2. At it, but it's fun. It's just a lot of great variety, a lot of quick distractions. It feels like, and it's just nice to have all of that made available. So I'm excited to try and check out the online mode. That should be exciting because I want to play with people that are above the skill level of a 4-year-old. You know, along with myself. So,
all right, David, you just got the game. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I put a few hours into it this afternoon, and I hadn't played the Wii U version, but it's just, I think it represents everything that I love about Nintendo, which is just like good, clean fun. Like I think I mentioned on the show last week that Nintendo's business model is kind of the Happy Meal approach. They create these sort of sentimental, fond memories with kids that then, even as an adult, when you go back and play, it's like you find yourself, you know, primed to enjoy their stuff throughout your life. And I think that's really true here. Like, it is a game that you can enjoy, you know, if you're a young kid. You know, I have 2 kids at home. And I see my daughter just loving it as a 9-year-old, but then also as an adult, like there's little things that I can pay attention to in the game to really focus on. And it just seems like it has big replay value, and I just feel happy when I'm playing it. So
Yeah, I've just been laughing all the way because I, like you, Jack, I got through the whole game, got my stars and everything, and there's still some places I need to go back and get the stars and stamps. But I'm just laughing, seeing them in their cat suits, seeing them in that ice skate thing, and you just like you just hitting all of these different enemies, seeing you in the Tanuka suit. I love the level where it's almost like a roller coaster, well, like a race car thing, Mount Super Dash or something like that, and you got to run fast and hit the little target things to go fast and everything, and sliding. Seeing the princess run where she lifts her dress and the smoke come out, it just makes me laugh, and it makes me feel like a kid and everything, even though it is challenging when you're trying to find everything, and you don't think about the clock running out. You're just like, oh crap, the clock is like 50 seconds and I'm only halfway done with the level and stuff. It's a really great game, and I think a lot of people are experiencing it for the first time. People have just been going to levels just to hear music. Like, it's the music is so good, and everybody has just been enjoying it and just been having fun with it. And like I said, I've been laughing and enjoying it and everything. Bowser's Fury, though, what are our thoughts? David, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, so I've played about an hour of Bowser's Fury so far, and I like how seamless the gameplay is. Like, I can kind of just pay attention to one little job or task that I'm doing and then get distracted by something else and go do that. And I find like I can look up and a lot of time has passed. So again, for me, it goes back to gameplay. Nintendo's expertise is in making things that are just addictively fun, and the story is really secondary. And I feel like that's true here. Although the story concept is kind of cute, right? Like Bowser Jr. teaming up with Mario to like get his dad to calm down. Ed, you talked about laughing at, I found myself laughing right away. I love it.
What about you, Dan?
I love it. It just like it has such a good feel to it. It's basically the Mario Odyssey DLC we didn't get.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably only about an hour and a half into it. I just got obsessed with trying to find all the cat sprites on like each little island, so I haven't like progressed at all. But man, it's cool. I really enjoy it, and I love that they just added this on because it's great.
What about you, Jack?
It's awesome. I actually finished the main part earlier tonight. There's still a bunch more cat shines to find. I think I have like 65 or so. But I beat, I guess, the campaign of it earlier. And it was good. It was a lot of fun. I like how the world got to expand as you went along, and as Dan said, it seems like it's a marriage between 3D World and Odyssey, about being able to find something, like find a shine, and then just boom, you're right back into the
with
action.
the hint of sunshine on top.
Yes, yeah.
That's what I was about to add.
Yeah. We'll look out for the Flood DLC to come on.
I was just like, I need Super Mario Sunshine 2 to be this. Like it the water and just riding and just getting everything. Yes, I see the Mario Odyssey as like the foundation, the groundwork for this game. When he was painting his dad and everything, Mario's expression, how he looks like really.
He was in a mood.
I exactly, and I've never seen Nintendo do anything like that with Mario, so it was a shock to me. I thought it was so cool and everything, and so them working together, and you got like limited if he works with you a lot or not, or actually cut him off. Like it was actually interesting to see, and just seeing like, hold on, wait, he has the black goop on his paintbrush. So was he messing around with the paint and his dad got caught up with it and it like turned it to him? It looks like that. What's also cool is there's a loading screen part of it, and they show Bowser in his black outfit, but he's in his 8-bit. He's in an 8-bit look.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh, this is so cool. This is like amazing. Fighting Bowser is a hoot though. I love like becoming the cat thing, and you can lose it and still be a big Mario or little Mario, but you can go back and get the cat suit. I've been having fun with it. Like I want to see more of this. Like, can I fight the Koopa kids? In this big thing, like they can add a lot to it. It's so good. I can't believe this thing works. Just seeing the trailer, which is like, oh, this is getting me hyped. Playing it actually changes your mind about it. So, I love this DLC.
How far into it are you, Ed?
So I defeated him one time. And then like half of the map on the right opened up, and now I gotta wait to fight him again. I gotta get the 15 cat things.
Yeah, so I'm like right in the same spot as you.
Yeah.
I one thing I forgot to mention about the campaign, like the original game, is like there's so many new power-ups that are so cool. Like I love the boomerang suit. Like the cat suit is great. It works really well. I genuinely thought it was going to be stupid, but
it shouldn't work. It shouldn't work, but it does.
It shouldn't work, but it's really, really fun. And then like having the hats with like the bullet hat is really cool. And like, I think what you were saying before, Ed, is like when you're actually collecting everything, it brings a big challenge to the game, because I think I was on the end of the second world and you actually have to hang on to the bullet hat the whole time to break walls and stuff to get all the stars and everything in the stamp. So yeah, I mean it's so cool. I've loved every part of it.
Me and you were on the because I was playing with Dan and we were on the ice level trying to get that third green star at the top with the tree and everything. And I was just like, how the heck did we get this? And I'm just like, you were able to get it. And I can't get it on my single player thing. I'm like, how the heck did we get this star and stuff? And we were just having a ball with this game. So
Yeah, that was fun.
yeah. So we're going to get to our last part of this and talk about kind of why Nintendo ports, why do people feel like they matter most? And this will cover any Nintendo system. It just doesn't have to be from Wii U to Switch. It could cover any system where if a game is being ported to Nintendo, people kind of now get excited or they get, they're surprised. Where like if a game comes to Sony or Microsoft, it depends on what the title is. Everybody got hyped that Mass Effect Legendary is being ported or kind of remastered, but for PlayStation and Xbox and stuff. But like that same kind of hype was happening for Super Mario 3D World. Why do you think that happens a lot? Jack, I'm gonna start with you with this one.
I think it's really the added value that they incorporate, and it goes back to the GameCube and maybe even before. But when they launched the Master Quest included in Ocarina of Time, they added that in, and I think it's just that they respect to a certain degree the consumer. They want to add in a value and not just resell the same thing. They saw that the Wii U was a very big failure, but it had a lot of great games. Now a lot more people are being able to see that on the Switch, but they were able to take the successes on the Wii U and then just expand upon it. With 3D World having the added Bowser's Fury, but also Pikmin 3 with Olimar's added DLC, or not DLC, but added story, which was fantastic. I love the Pikmin series, and being able to not only just replay that, but actually have extra content. It allowed me to justify double dipping in a game that I've already played. And the same thing could be said about all of the other Switch ports that have been sent over. So I just think it's really a good testament that Nintendo respects our dollar and our spend, at least a little bit anyway, so yeah.
What about you, Dan?
I think it's a lot about like what we've been talking about on our Discord and our Twitter, that nostalgia sells, right? I'm gonna list off every Mario game that's available on the Switch right now. Super Mario Brothers, the arcade version, Super Mario Brothers 1, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario All-Stars, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Odyssey, New Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, and Super Mario 3D World on one system.
And Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island.
And Super Mario, yes, exactly. And I have played almost all of those. I have definitely bought Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Odyssey, U Deluxe, and 3D World. If somebody loves an IP, they're just going to keep going after it. And I feel like we've had enough of a lull in Mario games for the last couple of years that even people who have played 3D World want to play this game again, and they want to play it portable. And with the Switch, portable is what makes everything sell, really. If I had a Wii U and I owned this game, but had a Switch and was able to just like hang out in another room and pop on 3D World whenever I want, obviously I'm going to double dip, And to piggyback on what Jack said, Xenoblade is one of my favorite games, and I was going to buy it anyway, but to have Future Connected added as well is like just such a big selling point. You could just tell that Nintendo puts so much love and care into their ports, and they give a little more to the fans as well.
Yes. David, what are your thoughts?
Nostalgia sells. Nintendo fans, more than maybe other company fans, rebuy games, even if there's not new content. I own Link to the Past on 5 systems. Like, why? I don't know, because I think, what if I'm in this really unique situation where I only have my 3DS and I want to play Link to the Past? Like, I could just wait till I get home, but no, I need to buy it for my 3DS, right? So I think there's that factor, which, Jack and Dan already talked about quite a bit, so I won't say more about that. But there is another thing, another factor at play here. Nintendo folks tend to be pretty exclusive and stay in-house by and large. So when something does come to Switch, I mean, ports not just from older Nintendo systems, but ports of other games, it's a big deal because a lot of times they haven't necessarily had access to that because they've been a Nintendo-only household or primarily only played their Switch. On the flip side, PlayStation fans, Xbox fans, ports aren't really a big deal because chances are if it's on PlayStation, it's going to be on Xbox with the exception of some exclusive titles. And Nintendo's never letting their titles go there. So there's no sort of reverse direction with those ports from Nintendo over to PlayStation. So in some ways, it feels like getting ports is more worth celebrating on Switch than it would be if I'm a PlayStation fan or an Xbox fan.
Yeah, Nintendo only has games on 2 different systems. One is the Atari 2600, which is Mario Brothers, the regular one, and the CDI with their Zelda and Mario missing the stuff. Those are the only 2 systems that got Nintendo products. No one else has them. I feel like I think when we watch a Nintendo Direct, we all celebrate what's coming to the system. So when there is a port that's coming to Nintendo, we get shocked that, let's say CD Projekt Red was bringing Cyberpunk 2077 to Switch for cloud. We probably would be like, wait, what? Even with all the problems with that game, to see CD Projekt Red to even put like the way that they put Witcher 3 that made people laugh, but people brought it and it sold 1 million copies. And people like beat the Witcher 3 more on Switch, and this game been out for all these other consoles for years. It's kind of amazing that people are willing to give a port on the Nintendo system a try, because they know that if they want to be like, you know what, I want to try the Nintendo version, and you can't find it, you're going to be looking at eBay and stuff for it. This game is $500 some. This game is $150 some, because it's so like not niche, but the quantity is so low that if you want a copy to play on a Nintendo system, you're going to have to spend some money. So people have kind of learned that if I don't buy this port at this time on this console, in a few years, I'm not going to see it again. And if I feel like I want to play it on a Nintendo console, if I don't have it, I'm not going to be able to play it unless I'm going to spend some money. When it comes to Nintendo's own games being on their like other consoles and stuff, it gives people a lot of incentive to try it out and introduce their kids to it. When Wind Waker HD came out, a lot of people introduced their kids to the Zelda franchise to get them ready for Wind Waker. So they made them play the first Zelda and Zelda 2 and Link to the Past and stuff to understand why the Zelda franchise has been important. And when they came to Wind Waker HD, some parents were just like, here you go. Here's the gamepad. You explore and you learn the game. And a lot of kids did. And it's just, I think Nintendo puts a lot of care to it, even though it don't seem like it. They do put some care and quality into making the game a little bit better for modern times. So I think we all just like to celebrate it and get it and know that if we don't get that copy nowadays, if we don't get that copy at that time, we'll never be able to play that game in the future. If you didn't buy your copy of Eternal Darkness on GameCube, good luck of trying to get a copy now. Unless you're playing it at a friend's house or you emulating it, you will never play the original version on original hardware. And some people are like that. They want to play the original version on original hardware. We won't see that for years. Unless Nintendo decides to bring it. Please, Nintendo, bring Eternal Darkness. But that has been our Doc Mode, everybody. Now we're getting to our final section of the show, Playing with Power. Dan, what have you been playing with Power besides Mario 3D World?
Yeah, so aside from the obvious, I was trying to play a few time killer games before Mario 3D World came out. So I have been on this like almost 2-year quest of trying to finish Dragon Quest 11. I'm about 45 hours in. I got like 3 hours in and got bored again. So then I tried Final Fantasy 8 and I still can't stand that game. So I really wanted to try to like it this time, and I was like, I just can't with this game. Amazing soundtrack though. So then I went back to Hades, and I've been plugging away, doing a few runs, getting better at it, but I still haven't beat the final boss. I'm probably about 25 runs in right now. And, you know, this is another game that I'm just going to kind of keep dropping and picking back up because roguelikes just aren't really my thing. Most of the time when I play them, I feel kind of unsatisfied. And I think that's, you know, I see Hades and I know it's like such a good game, but like it leaves me kind of just feeling blah a few times when I play it, just because that's always my sentiment with roguelikes.
All right. Jack, what have you been playing with Power?
Well, besides 3D World, I finished Cyber Shadow earlier in the week. That was really, really good. A lot of fun. I got to go back and get some upgrades and stuff like that. Didn't get all of the completion that I wanted. And Tetris 99. I am hooked on Tetris. I'm a big Tetris fan, so I always dip into that. That's always on my playlist, at least once or twice a week. I'll pop that on. But other
I'm
than
gonna
that,
get you to teach me how to play that. I still have never won a match in Tetris
oh
99.
no, about a month ago, I finally got my first Tetris Maximus. So like when you win Tetris 99, it unlocks a mode where only winners can play. So it's like,
So I'm still in the losers lounge.
Right.
Dude. Well, I played like 200 matches of this, and I finally just got it last month, and I was very excited. I think I scared the hell out of my wife when I finally got the reaction. So, and I think I scared her a lot more leading up to it when I would finish in second or third place and then have a worse reaction. But yeah, it definitely. If we need to hook up sometime, I'd be more than happy to, go over that with Tetris 99 with you, Dan.
Absolutely.
All right. David, what have you been playing with Power?
Oh man, I've been all over the place this week. So I'm still trying to roll credits on The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, and I'm getting pretty close now, which is good. I got back into that. My son and I, he's 14. We watched The Predator together for the first time. It's one of my childhood favorite movies, but he started watching. Oh, this looks so old. Did they make a remake of this? But of course, by the end, he loved it. And so Fortnite has a Predator skin and like a little area in the map right now where you can fight the Predator in the jungle and get his stuff. So that's been pretty fun. So we've been playing a lot of that together. Yeah, you can tell whoever programmed it into Fortnite, loved the movie as it, assuming that growing up for them as well. So that was cool. And then I've been playing the second quest on the original Legend of Zelda, and just getting on that, trying really hard not to use the rewind button. But I feel like my skills have lapsed a little bit since I was a kid. So
are you using a strategy guide?
No, and I'm really trying to just go into it blind. I've got everything memorized for the first quest, but the second quest, I don't know where anything's at, which is kind of fun. But it's hard.
It's hard.
They refresh all the dungeons.
Yeah.
So when you go into the first dungeon, it's not like the original dungeon. No. They redid everything.
And even the shapes are different, too, of the actual dungeon. So I stumbled into this second dungeon, which was way too hard for where I was at, and been playing that. And then the last thing I've been playing, I'm trying to beat Xenoblade Chronicles, and those are just fantastic. So,
yes.
All right. So for me, I've been playing Binary Infinite. I'm still on mission 4. I'm halfway through this game. I just gotta pursue. I gotta pursue. I gotta persist and try to get to the next level with it. Been doing some more Nino Kuni too. I just beat the spirit guardian of this forest. So I just like restored this lake, and now I'm in this desert area. I'm at the point where this one girl that you see, her mom and dad also, they've been like having problems. So the dad is brokenhearted. So you have to fight this boss. Dan, you should know where this is at.
Yeah, you're in. You just met Esther, right?
Yeah, because you go to the garage to fight them and stuff. So I wasn't powered up yet because I didn't have their armor and stuff. But I'm getting their armor and doing a little bit more levels. We go fight them. But it's getting good. That's where I'm at with Nino Kuni too. So I play some other games on other platforms, but I'm just gonna keep those two to Switch. And like I said, we all playing Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury.
I forgot to mention Festival was today on Animal Crossing, and that was really fun. Me and my fiance played that right before we jumped on. It was definitely one of the more fun events that they've had.
Dan, what do I'm gonna hop on after we get off here. What's like the top 3 things to do today if I go on?
Catch feathers. You got to catch a lot of feathers, man. So get ready for it.
All right, everybody. That has been the show for Nintendo Pop Block. Jack, thank you for coming on. Go ahead and plug. Where can we find you?
Hey, well, thanks a lot for having me on. I'm just really on Twitter, GeekBro27. No, this is a really good experience, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for coming on. David, where can we find you?
At David Lasby on Twitter, and ZeldaDungeon.net, BossRushGames.com, and TheMighty.com.
Dan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DCDM99.
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatBretcherCode. You can check out Optional Opinion, Boss Rush Games podcast, and more at BossRushGames.com. And World War One podcast. You guys can check on Podbean. We've been going back on World War One during our old episodes. We're like at 200 some episodes, and we have been doing that for 4 whole years. So do check out our retrospective with that if you guys care to. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you guys are enjoying Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. But get ready, because Bravely Default 2 will be dropping soon. And we're probably going to be having a discussion about that game. Also, we know that Zelda is also having their anniversary on the 21st, I believe, David. So we're probably going to be talking a little bit about that, some of our history with Zelda and everything. Also, everybody go to ZeldaDungeon.com. You can take a look at David and I interview. He interviewed me for Black History Month. And also check the video on BossRushGames.com for more in-depth impact. With it, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you next time on Nintendo Pop Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
Good night.